Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm meteorologist Ariana Goldstein.
I'm meteorologist Jake Carsons. Welcome to our Thursday edition of FSU Weather.
Welcome, welcome. So Jake, tell me about your day today.
Well, first of all, my brother Luke just got accepted into Florida State. Wanted to, of course, congratulate everybody in the class of 2022. Some of the future of FSU Weather actually going to be making their way in pretty soon. Weather-wise, fantastic day. It was really...
it turned out nicely today.
Warmed up into those middle 60s. We're going to see that sunshine stick around for just about another day or so before our next frontal system works its way in. Plenty more about that later in the show. For now, Michael's on the roof showing you just how nice it is outside today.
Thanks, guys. I'm up here on the roof of the Love Building with a gorgeous view of the Tallahassee skyline. Look at that. Not even a cloud in the sky. You can see as far as the eye can see. It's actually a little breezy up here, so I'm kind of losing my balance a little bit. But as we go into tomorrow, this is going to be exactly as it is today, a carbon copy forecast, and perfect for any plans you have, like going out to the golf course, having a nice walk in the park. Perfect. Now, throughout the show, we're going to go into the Hurricane Harvey report. Jake has more details about that. And it's also Severe Weather Awareness Week here in Florida. Jennifer will have more details about that. We will also talk about our State of the Week this week, which is Minnesota, give you the forecast for that, as well as pick the State of the Week for next week. And we'll also go into sports and events. We have a big game here in Tallahassee this week. Our women's team plays number 5 Notre Dame at the Tucker Center, and it's actually going to be perfect for watching that game as it's going to be rain all day Sunday. So perfect conditions for watching that game, in my opinion. Now, we're going to send it back to the desk to continue our show.
Thank you so much for that live weather update, Michael, from the roof. I could see the new building popping up back there. The crane is working. I'm excited for that. But this week's state is Minnesota, and now we're going to pick next week's state.
All right, let the fun begin. Can I get a drum roll, please? Last time I think I picked North Dakota, so let's see what we got here. Nevada! We're going out west, mountainous area. It's going to be a fun forecast, which is certainly refreshing for all of us here.
Yes, it is. Pop quiz. Do you know the capital of Nevada?
Carson City.
Correct.
Everyone says Las Vegas. It is not. I'm an Illinois guy, so of course I know Chicago is not the capital. I really take those kinds of things seriously.
Yes, yes. Very good. Very true.
So back to Florida. You have our first local forecast.
Yes, I do. I'm going to tell you about the local forecast in Florida today. So right now you can see that this is a roller coaster of temperature in the past 12 hours. We were bopping to the top today. We started out, let's see, 43 degrees this morning, and we went all the way and reached 65 by midday, and then now we are at 61. So it is definitely cooling down outside. So put your jacket back on. So currently it is 61 degrees in Tallahassee. The humidity is only 25%. It is dry outside. I'm a fan of that because look at this, no frizz in this hair. It's perfect. It's awesome weather. It is partly cloudy. The sun is setting, but it's getting a little bit more chilly. So currently, like I said, it's 61 in Tallahassee, Monticello. You're at 59, Thomasville, you're at 55. Everywhere is mid-50s, low 60s. It is getting chillier as the night goes on, so bring your layers with you. And the dew point in Tallahassee, 25, like I said, very dry, no frizz in your hair. My hair has been frizzy the past few days, but it is good right now. I'm having a great hair day right now. But in Apalachicola, you can see it's at 38. That is because you're simply by the water, so you have more moisture in your air. But did you know we are in a drought right now in Tallahassee? We have a severe drought warning right now, but there is rain coming this weekend. There is a cold front coming in, so that will hopefully help. Sunday there's like a 90% chance of rain, so hopefully that will help with this drought warning because I didn't know we were in a drought warning, but apparently we are. The grass is looking not too green. But on the satellite radar, you can see there are no clouds over Tallahassee right now. In the south, there are a few clouds like flowing out, but right now the sky is very clear. There's not a lot of clouds in the sky at all, so before the sun sets, go enjoy your warmish weather before you get to the high, low 40s tonight. So at 7 o'clock, what you can expect is 53 degrees. At 10 o'clock, you can expect 47, and it continues to drop throughout the night to 41 at 12 o'clock. So if you like to take nightly strolls, bring a heavy jacket because it's going to be a little chilly. Even some gloves. My hands are always cold, so bring some gloves with you or wear a hat. Tomorrow, what you can expect is 68 degrees, which is much not much warmer than today, but I consider that much warmer because I like the warm. But the clouds will continue to come in throughout the day tomorrow. It's going to start out pretty sunny, but the cloud cover will increase throughout the day, so it may not feel like 68, but importantly, wear those layers. So for the 5-day forecast, you can see tomorrow 68, the low is 36. Layers, layers, layers. I can't emphasize that enough. And Saturday, we have a 20% chance of rain for that basketball game. And then for Sunday, that's where the rain comes, 90% chance of rain. But that cold front is coming in, and to Monday, it will be 65, and Tuesday, 57. And now Michael is going to tell us about the national forecast.
Yeah, thanks, Ariana. I'm actually back from the roof. You saw those clear conditions across the skyline of Tallahassee. The reason for that is high pressure is dominating the center of the country. The story is similar in Memphis and Atlanta, and that's going to continue for the next day or so until that cold front starts to move throughout the country. The cold front is situated across the west right now, and that's giving them a lot of the clouds and cooler conditions with 43 in Salt Lake City and 43 in Seattle. There's that cold front I was talking to you about. It's giving some snow in Utah, and it's giving some mountain snow in the Sierra Nevada mountains and some rain in Seattle. And that's going to move again east over the next few days. That high pressure will push out and will be replaced by that cold front over the weekend. Here's a closer look of that cold front, again giving the mountain snow and the rain across the Pacific coast. And we're going to show you this low pressure system starting to develop in the Gulf of Mexico. What this low pressure system is going to do is moisture is going to combine with that front and will give us really high rain chances late Saturday into Sunday for the Tallahassee area. So be prepared for a washout on Sunday. We warned you here first. Now the dew points really dry across the entire nation. The exception is South Texas, and as always, Central and South Florida. They always have the higher dew points compared to the rest of the nation. The temperature change, it shows you it's really warm, warmer than this time yesterday across the center of the nation. That's due to clear skies and high pressure, as I was saying, that's dominating the center of the country. Now, you're going to see in this futurecast how the winds from the south are associated with this cold front moving east throughout the next few days. That's going to increase the rain chances for everyone across the U.S. Friday into Saturday, and then Sunday here across the East Coast. And by the time the work week starts, that will clear out, and conditions will be much better than it is this weekend. We do have some red flag warnings here in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. That's due to the windy conditions and very dry conditions in place as well. We also have some winter weather advisories in the west, but for tonight, warmer conditions in Texas, cooler conditions across the east due to clear skies, and tomorrow, very nice conditions across the southern of the country. But now let's send it off to the lab where Jennifer is standing by.
Yes, thank you, Michael. And this week is actually Severe Weather Awareness Week, and today's topic is about hurricane and flooding. Now, typically hurricanes the hurricane season actually runs from June 1st all the way through November 30th, but hurricanes can actually occur even outside of that time, like Hurricane Arlene, which actually happened in April, about 2 months before hurricane season even started. But the peak of hurricane season actually occurs between August and September, and that's when hurricanes are actually the most intense as well. Now, the difference between a hurricane watch and a hurricane warning is that a hurricane watch is issued 48 hours before a storm. That's typically when preparation measures should be taken in advance of the storm, but a hurricane warning is issued 36 hours in advance of a storm, and that's when preparation should be wrapping up, and evacuations could be occurring at this time as well. It's important to have a plan during hurricane season. Know what evacuation zone you're in, especially for low-lying coastal areas like Tampa or even some portions of the Big Bend region. It's important to know what zone you're in. Also, having a hurricane supply kit, such as non-perishable foods, batteries for any weather radios or any electronics, and also having water on hand, because that helps in the end. Storm surge is the biggest threat during hurricane season, as 90% of hurricane fatalities are actually due to storm surge and flooding. And flooding is not just a hurricane-specific event. It can actually occur during tropical storms, tropical depressions, and even a low-pressure system.
It's important to prepare, know what flood zone you're in, especially know your evacuation routes, and also remember to turn around and don't drown. Now with that, we're going to take things back to Ariana at the wall for a look at the southeast.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for all the interesting information about hurricanes. You got to watch out for those hurricanes. They're coming for us on Saturday for the basketball game. Go Noles, let's win. All right, but for your current conditions right now around the southeast, we have Orlando, you're at 62. Down in Miami, it is a little cloudy, but it's still in the low 70s. But up north, Tallahassee 61, Montgomery, you're at 56. Dallas over there, you're at 66 also. So it's high 50s, mid 60s, low 60s. It's all feeling about the same. Nothing too crazy out there right now. For the satellite radar, you can see these clouds in the south were moving out earlier today. And also over here, we have these clouds moving in. So tomorrow, what you can expect in the morning is you can expect clear skies, but those clouds are coming throughout the day. The cloud cover will come, and that is where that is coming from Texas. But right now, there's nothing much. You can also see this here, the orange right here, this is dry air, and then the green, this is very moist air. We saw those clouds moving out, and then there's those clouds moving in. They're bringing the moist air to us and that rain for this weekend. So it is coming, but tomorrow it's going to be pretty nice outside. But the current dew point down in Miami, you're at 58, Key West, you're at 60, Orlando, you're at 50. It's pretty humid down there right now, but those clouds are moving out. So, but in Tallahassee, you're at 25, and then where the clouds are down over in Texas, you're also at a high dew point, but those clouds are moving out towards us, so we can expect some of dew points like that in the future. But the 24-hour temperature change, honestly, not much has changed. We've gone up 7 degrees since yesterday. The temperatures are increasing, but the cold front is coming later this weekend, so the temperatures will change then too. So what you see here is a small craft watch. So what that means, it is very windy at the coast, so if you're on a boat or you're in a small airplane, you need to be cautious because it is very windy. Just a caution, it's a watch, but it's all around the coast. It's pretty windy around the coast because this cloud's moving in and out, so just be cautious of the wind. It's always windy around there. You can see it here. Key West, you're at 16 knots. Miami, you're at 14. Tallahassee, 8. It's just windy all around, but it's nothing horrible, just to be aware of. Tonight, what you can expect, we've got mid-30s all around over here in the Big Bend, and then Miami, you can have 64, Key West, 67. It is a little warmer down there because you're more south, but it's going to be cold tonight. Tomorrow, you can expect a little warmer than today. Nothing too crazy. But right now, we're going to take it back to the lab with Jake.
Thank you, Ariana. As Jennifer already alluded to, we are, of course, in Severe Weather Awareness Week with today's topic discussing hurricanes and floods. Conveniently, the Hurricane Harvey Tropical Cyclone Report was published today. You can check it out at hurricanes.gov or nhc.noaa.gov. So we're going to go ahead and recap the timeline, some of the impacts, some of the challenges associated with Hurricane Harvey as it, of course, devastated parts of Texas and Louisiana. So first, a quick little timeline here. This formed on August 17th over the eastern Caribbean, strengthened into a tropical storm just about the same day there, and it lasted about 2 days. It actually went through 2 separate phases as a tropical storm, degenerating back into a wave due to its interaction with a lot of wind shear over the central Caribbean on August 19th. Once this got through the Yucatan, entered a more favorable environment for intensification, this storm really blew up, regenerated into a tropical depression 4 days after its initial dissipation, and rapidly intensified 2 days later into a Category 4 hurricane before, of course, making its well-known landfall near Rockport, Texas, in between about Corpus Christi and Houston or so. And this stayed over Texas for a long time, dumping historic totals of rainfall, also, of course, causing some wind and storm surge damage before eventually dissipating a week later over parts of Kentucky and the Tennessee Valley. So what this plot shows you is the wind speed evolution, this black line right here. So we're going to go ahead and follow along with this. And we actually saw in less than 3 days' time an intensification with this storm of 105 miles per hour, which is really off the charts. It had plenty of time, of course, to go through this, but obviously this happened at the most possible inopportune time in terms of its impact in parts of the United States. The big story with Harvey, of course, was the rainfall totals as this stalled out. I'll explain why it stalled out over Texas on this next slide right here. But some of these colors in southeastern Texas indicating rainfall totals with the storm of over 50 inches, which is just out of this world. Some spots near Beaumont actually saw over 60 inches of rainfall over the few days that it was stalled out over Texas. So why exactly did it do that? Well, once it made its landfall in southeastern Texas, it really began to interact with the stationary front that was already pre-located over parts of the state, as well as some of the other parts of the southeast. So this eventually caused the storm to just completely stall out and just continue to funnel in moisture out of the south, out of the western Gulf of Mexico, causing all of this rainfall mostly to the east of the storm center. So areas like eastern Houston over towards Beaumont, eventually Lake Charles, Louisiana, got absolutely inundated, as of course some of those damage pictures have shown over the last few months. Some key numbers with this. One spot, Nederland, Texas, saw 60.58 inches of rain, which is an all-time tropical cyclone record. $125 billion in estimated damages, making this the second costliest hurricane in American history. So, of course, we're never going to want to see another one like this, but this is why we do what we do here in meteorology, studying some of these very damaging storms. For now, we're going to go back to a more local look where Jennifer is standing by at the wall.
Yes, thank you. And as we take things over towards a more local look, Tallahassee has seen a very range of temperatures since last week, starting on around Thursday. We saw temperatures below average, about 20 degrees on January 18th. But going into this week and into Monday, we saw temperatures increasing a little bit. Temperatures went above average for most of this week, but we did hit below average for today, 57 degrees. For our high temperatures today, around 64 is our typical high for this time of the year. Current condition across the tri-state area, though, clear conditions for most of the area. 56 degrees for Valdosta, 61 degrees for Tallahassee. A little bit of cloud cover in Orlando and Tampa, but mainly clear conditions because of a high pressure system that's located a little bit north of us. Salah and Rare, the clouds cleared out since yesterday and just left us with clear sunny skies going into today, which allowed our temperature to increase a little bit, not near average, but it got up there. Current winds right now coming out of the northeast. We're seeing wind speeds of around 8 miles per hour here in Tallahassee. These northeast winds are keeping it fairly cool, especially with that high pressure system, and winds coming out of the Gainesville around 12 miles per hour as well. We see these wind speeds shifting a bit as we go on throughout the rest of this week. Current dew points right now across the Big Bend, across the tri-state area, are very low. 25 degrees here in Tallahassee, so it's feeling pretty dry. If you walk outside, your throat might be a little scratchy. You might need some chapstick as well. But as we get along towards most of South and Central and South Florida, dew points are increasing a little bit, so it's feeling a little more humid as you walk outside in those areas. Cold front, as we head into the rest of this week and into this weekend, we have a cold front, a low pressure system off to our west. That's going to start making its way across the United States, start making its way east, and bring a lot of rain for most of the Mississippi River Valley and also portions of Texas as well. But as we head out through Friday and Saturday and into Sunday, we'll see the rain chances increase, especially for Tallahassee. And Sunday is going to be our high rain day. But after this cold front moves on through, we'll be left with a high pressure system, and it's going to feel pretty nice, a bit cooler temperatures behind this cold front. Heading into the night, if you're headed out of town, 53 degrees for 7 p.m. We're going to decrease temperatures a little bit, 47 degrees for 10 p.m. and 41 degrees for midnight. So keep the sweater on hand because you might need it going into tonight. Tomorrow's forecast, though, 36 degrees for when you wake up in the morning, 55 degrees as we head into noon, and 68 degrees for your afternoon forecast. You'll be able to take off the sweaters by the afternoon. Going into the week ahead, we'll see temperatures going above average that Saturday into Sunday, as well as our rain chances increasing going into Sunday, but going below average into next week. As I take things over for Jake for a look at Minnesota.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's time for our State of the Week, and it is a fun one to forecast if you missed those 20s from last week. Well, you're coming to the right spot here. Currently across the state of Minnesota, plenty of cloud cover, no precipitation, a pretty calm day out there with these temperatures largely in the 20s, as I am about to show you right here. We're seeing temperatures in the mid to upper 20s across most of the state. There we go. 28 degrees in Mankato, 27 under mostly cloudy skies in Minneapolis. The sun shining bright off in the northwestern part of the state in Crookston. Avoiding some of these cooler areas like International Falls and Duluth, thankfully for us. The dew points largely teens and 20s as well, reflecting some of that moisture, but just not quite enough to get any kind of snowfall activity going on, which is, of course, good for those in northern Minnesota. Tonight's forecast, teens and 20s once again everywhere you look. Pretty similar temperatures to what you're actually seeing right about now there. And for tomorrow, again, the sunshine really dominant across the southern part of the state. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s anywhere you look across the state of Minnesota. But for now, what we're going to do is more of a national picture here in terms of the drought situation that's been involved across much of the United States.
Yeah, and actually extreme droughts have been occurring in most areas of the Southern Plains, as well as here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, and the problem with this, if you actually look at some of the warnings that are currently out across the country, is a lot of times these drought locations are co-located with these red flag warnings, these conditions favorable for fire activity.
Yes, and with the fire activity, you see, because of these dry conditions, a lot of the foliage around the area is very dry, so it'll be used as kind of a fire bundling type of situation.
Exactly, and for us here in Tallahassee, we need to keep an eye on this as well because we are in a moderate drought, actually severe drought here in town as well. And when you have these cold fronts coming through, the high winds, the low humidity, the dry air they bring behind it can be very favorable for the spread of these fires, especially for these cases where we don't get too much rain.
And with that, we're actually going to take things back over to the lab with a look at trivia with Michael.
Thanks, guys. I'm here in the lab with a look at our this week's trivia question. And our trivia question for the week is, when is the start of the East Pacific hurricane season? I want to emphasize East Pacific because there is a difference. Now, first, May 1st. Our second choice, May 15th. Our third choice, June 1st. And our final choice, June 15th. We have this question posted on our Twitter page, so be sure to go on there to answer this question. And we'll reveal the answer in our next show. Now let's send it out to the wall where Jake has a look at some of the events happening around Tallahassee.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Plenty to talk about in the sports world. Here, we're starting with Florida State Athletics. The track team going to be heading out to Arkansas. Of course, a quick shout out to Tevin, a University of Arkansas grad. Friday, the Razorback Invitational at the Randall Tyson Track Center. Weather looking okay, a little bit on the windy side and a little bit cool with that temperature at 49 degrees when the event starts at 11 a.m. This will also be carrying on into Saturday. Women's tennis is going to be taking on Virginia. A neutral site game as Vanderbilt is going to be hosting an invitational in Nashville, Tennessee. 58 degrees when that match starts at 12 o'clock, looking fantastic. Although, once again, a little bit on the breezy side there in Tennessee. The men's team going to be out in Waco, Texas at Baylor, playing again another neutral siter against Purdue. 63 degrees. Rain is in the forecast there at 50% chance. Wind there going to be out of the north at about 5 miles per hour. So the temperatures are at least very comfortable for all of them. Moving on in more of an events kind of picture, we're looking at the 35th Annual Children's Day going to be hosted at the Museum of Florida History here in Tallahassee. Saturday beginning at 10 in the morning. We're forecasting a temperature of 58, overcast skies. Not too much of a rainfall threat really until the later hours after this event has concluded. Winds largely out of the east at 10 miles per hour. Plenty of fun stuff to do there if you're looking for something to do on your Saturday afternoon. We also have the NFL Pro Bowl taking place on Sunday down in Orlando at Camping World Stadium. 3 p.m. kickoff as the NFC and the AFC square off, no longer doing the captain system that they've done in years past. 76 degrees is the forecast at kickoff with a 60% chance of rain. Winds out of the south at a rather breezy 10 miles per hour there. Now we're going to move on into men's basketball. Saturday playing against Miami, a couple teams that are just on the fringe of the top 25. A big game for NCAA tournament implications. 72 degrees is going to be the tip-off temperature. Not looking for too much rainfall on your commute to the game, but we could have this working its way into our picture when the game concludes around 6 or 6:30 or so. Hopefully we don't have 4 or 5 overtimes to change that picture. Lastly, we got the golf index for tomorrow. We've been speaking very positively about this forecast. Might be a little bit cool in the morning, so you'll want to bring the sweater. Otherwise, a fantastic day with those temperatures getting into the upper 60s in the mid to late afternoon hours. But for a more detailed look at our final local forecast, here's Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. You know I'm looking forward to that golf forecast, but let's look at our almanac for today. And it was a pretty average end of January day for this time of year. 65 was our high, 36 was our low. You see our high was right around our average and the low was just slightly below our average low. Now as we go into our current conditions, it is 61 degrees outside, but note the dew point and humidity, really dry air. Again, you need the chapstick, you need the lotion to keep your skin moisturized. And the reason for these dry dew points is the winds coming out from the north at 8 miles per hour, east-northeast at 8 miles per hour. Now the temperatures across the Big Bend and South Georgia, you can see 61 in here in Tallahassee, 57 in Bainbridge. Cooler conditions across Caribou and Apalachicola with 56 degrees respectively. The reason for that are these winds. You can see the winds coming out again from the north. That's why it's a little cooler across the coastal conditions. but very light as it is in terms of these winds. Now, the dew points, as I was saying, really, really dry air. 25 in Tallahassee, 23 in Quincy. But down near the coast, where you're near the water, you're going to have a little higher dew point. So 40 in Carabel and 38 in Apalachicola. Now, we did have some clouds yesterday, and those have cleared out down towards Central and South Florida, leaving for a perfect day for today. That will continue into tomorrow, and clouds will start to build again ahead of this cold front here in the west. Now, I showed you this on my national, but there's that low pressure system which will enhance the rainfall ahead of this cold front. And by the time we get into late Saturday into Sunday, the rain will be here in the southeast and in the Tallahassee area. So expect a washout, but it will be a great time to go and check out the women's game where our Noles played the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, number 8 against number 5. But as that cold front clears out, high pressure builds back in, and our skies will clear out as we head into the work week. Now, for tonight, 41 degrees will be our low. The clear weather will be perfect. And to quote our wonderful Thursday producer, Dylan, it is #sweater weather. And by tomorrow, we will warm up to a high of 68 degrees. The clouds will be on the increase as that cold front starts to inch closer and closer towards the east. But in the week ahead, the rain chances do increase by late Saturday into Sunday due to that cold front. Sunday is going to be a washout, but it will be a great day to head out into the Tucker Center. And as I head back with Jennifer here at the desk set, let's talk about the 7-day once again. So it looks pretty good in my opinion, doesn't it, Jennifer?
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Not really going into the weekend, though,
yeah,
so
the
that's
weekend,
rain chances.
But Sunday is actually, even though it's a washout, we do have that big game against Notre Dame. Number 5 against number 8. One of the biggest games in Tallahassee for women's basketball in years. So yeah, the weather fits perfectly.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice since those games are indoors at Doak. Yeah. It's gonna be nice having a little bit of rain.
Yeah, and so any plans for this weekend? Are you going to the Miami game on Saturday?
No, I don't think I am. I think I'm going to stay, and I have to do a little bit of studying before next week.
There's another look at our 7-day forecast with really nice conditions on Friday, but the clouds on the increase due to that cold front. But again, it gets cooler as we go into next week.
Yeah, and as going into Monday, only a early chance of rain for the morning hours, about 65 degrees. For the high about Monday, that's going to feel pretty nice. Yeah,
and it's nothing compared to what we had earlier in January. So don't forget to follow us on Twitter where we do have our poll of the week, and don't forget to like us on Facebook as well.
And you can also watch us anytime on youtube.com/FSUweather/live.
Yeah, and also the Instagram where you can post all these wonderful pictures here in Tallahassee, South Georgia, and the Big Bend region. So for all of us here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Michael Onen.
And I'm student meteorologist Jennifer Collins. Have a good evening, and we'll see you here tomorrow.